I've long since learnt not to expect the ideas that I have for a record to sustain themselves right through a piece of work, because always I can set out ideas of things I want to explore, but inevitably the process, the songs lead you away from that to where they want to go. So with this album, as with every album, the most important thing really for me, which has increased more and more with the more work I've done probably, is making an effort to find a new sound, to explore territory I've not explored before. So really my only guidelines were more guidelines of not what to do. I didn't want to repeat myself. I didn't want to write the same type of song over and over again. And I hopefully didn't want to sound like any other kind of music that was happening at the moment either, or that had happened before. Just trying really to find new ground. Eric Feldman, who I was working with, called it reinventing the wheel. He thought it was hilarious that I was trying to reinvent the wheel. But I guess that's what I was trying to do. I just feel that there's so much music in the world, and it seems pointless for me to just produce more music that's already happened before, or I've already made. There's too much of it. So my only goal really was to find a new sound. I feel that I love this record very much. I even play it for myself at home, which is very unusual for me. I find it quite beautiful and uplifting, and although I think some people might find it dark, I don't, for me, and I think it's different for every person really, maybe how you come to the record, but I find it very uplifting, and I'm very pleased with it because I felt that I did get somewhere near to the goals that I wanted to achieve, i.e. not repeating myself. If there were any other guidelines laid down in my brain, it was always one of simplicity and minimalism, which is, I think, something that's been important to me throughout. It's always there in my artwork, and the process of stripping things back to the bare essentials and seeing how much you can transmit a feeling or an emotion with the very few ingredients. So I wanted simplicity and understatement, maybe naivety in a way as well, of wanting to sing in a way that was unmannered and also musically. I wanted to explore the things that I'd fallen in love with at that particular time in my life, which was at that time piano playing, because that was very new to me and I felt very in love with that at the time. And also this very simplistic, almost childlike way of lyric writing. I always like to challenge myself as well. I wanted to try and do something that I knew I would find difficult, and this record certainly was a difficult one to make. I was very in love with playing the piano for quite a while, and a lot of the songs evolved out of that love. It's a very new sound for me, and therefore it was very exciting. The songs naturally followed that thing I was most in love with. So it wasn't necessarily a conscious decision, but the songs just took me there. Playing the piano a lot on this record, I find, dictates a very different mood to songwriting. I've thought about this quite a lot because the type of lyrical quality of the songs, I think, were they with a guitar and a more standard arrangement, like I've used in the past, the songs would seem entirely different in mood. They could feel quite light, quite light of touch. Something about the piano and the emotion that comes off of that lends an entirely different atmosphere. I find the whole album much more filmic, almost like a painting, rather than just music. And playing the piano, so many melodies come off. Just the way nature of playing it is so utterly different, and it's a percussion instrument, you're pushing it. I've been very used to pulling things to me. The melodies that spring off made me sing in a very different register. And again, I think this whole combination led me towards a totally different, unusual, peculiar sound, which takes a while for the ear to find a reference point to. There was no specific theme that I set out to explore, but the record, as it evolved, took on its own essence and emotions and grew into something all of its own. I like to think that a listener can make their own world out of the songs. It seems unnecessary for me to talk about what a song means for me. It means different things to everybody. Words mean different things to everybody. What one person calls green, another might call orange. Words really are very personal. I like to leave them that way and let people make their own world out of each song. The theme is nothing more than being human, really, the human condition. If I had to find words to throw around the record, they would only be ones of being a human being. Insanity, blame, shell shock, life and death, human kindness, absence, friendship, grandmothers, potential, violence, murder, news, forgiving and asking forgiveness. As I grow, the things that I want to explore change and grow. As I uncover something that I fell in love with wanting to find out more about, then I move on to something else. It informs me and I move on to the next step. But why do it? I don't really ever analyse that too much. It's very simple and it would exist whether anybody was looking at it or not, or listening to it. I just make the music I want to hear. And often I can't find that anywhere else, so I try and make it myself. If I didn't do it, I wouldn't feel that I'd fulfilled my role here on Earth. It's very simple. There's no real thought to the end result.